Hello and welcome back to Leeds United as we prepare for Season 2 and spoilers if you've not seen the last one, the Europa Conference League, which means I've got to talk about a lot of transfers. So let's not waste any more time, shall we? We'll go in price order and cut out the ones that are irrelevant from kind of youth levels. Rodrigo, 2.1 million, gone. Still paying about 10 grand of his wages, but that's still effectively 90 off the books. Fantastic news. Klitsch was one I wasn't 100% on, but he'd agreed to leave at the end of next year, so I kind of had to cash in this year. I wanted him for mentoring purposes, but yeah, he's gone to Mexico because of course he has. 2.4 million, 4 short of Forest. Bet that didn't go down well. 2.9 million. Held Acosta to Sochi, 3.8 million. He's worth a fair bit there. Somerville, 3.8 million. His lack of potential was kind of the reason for that one. He's gone to Mexico as well. Giabi's gone to Palace. Again, a lack of potential. I'd loved him to be in something, but nope. 4 million. Kind of recouped the loss a little bit. Koch for 6.5. Another one who'd agreed to leave at the end of next year, or had announced he was leaving at the end of next year. Not agreed. I didn't want him to. But yeah, he announced he was leaving at the end of next year. He's gone to Sociedad for 6.5 million. And Junior Firpo's gone to Mexico as well for 7.25 million. Wasn't actually as bad as I thought he was, if I'm completely honest. Kind of realised after I saw him, he'd done decently. And now the inbounds. Ola Aina, probably worse than Firpo, thinking about it. But we already knew about this one. Free agent, plays both sides. Mentors are horrible. Just kind of the emergency backup, effectively. On a little bit too much money for that. But getting good players who can play both sides is difficult. Another one that was announced already, Koulibaly, Tanguy Koulibaly from Stuttgart, released on free. We brought him up. He's worth about 10 to 15 million. I have tried to sell him already because he's a little bit surplus. But for now, he's going to be loaned out. Another free agent, Van den Boomen from Toulouse, who are relegated from League 1. He's weirdly good. Likes big matches, consistent, and has 16 corners and free kick taking. So he takes that away from Plattenhardt if need be, if he's playing. Good determination. Physicals could be better. But a really good squad player, 15, 16 million worth, 3-star, solid 3-star, 28, great to be back up. He was 27, he turned 28 in the summer. That's what threw me off there. And 28 grand a week. It's very reasonable, all things considered, for Branko van den Boomen. A fantastic name to boot as well. Now, I had a bit of an issue with goalkeepers because I didn't think Pierluigi Golini was going to get a work permit. They told me he wasn't, so I then signed another backup goalkeeper in the meantime, and then Golini did get a work permit, and I didn't actually delay the other one. You can see on the right hand side, spoilers, free, backup, 26 grand a week, which was less than Robles was on, who's gone on a free. It just occurred to me that a few deals happened before the season ticked over. Poveda left for 1.5 million. Tyler Roberts left for 5 million. He's worth a weird amount of money for Middlesbrough. And most importantly of all, Dan James left for 19 million. Again, he's worth a weird amount of money for West Ham. I went back because the man that you just saw on the right-hand side, Butland, who's actually regarded better than Golini, actually. So, sure, Clayton's been relegated to under 21 / being loaned out because he won't leave, or nobody wants him, more to the point. Yeah, Butland's weirdly good in the game. He's also valued at nothing, don't know why. And importantly, also on a free, for some reason, he's still out of contract at Watford. He was just being sold for nothing. João Pedro, worth 70 plus million there or thereabouts, 66 to 87. Heck of a person to get for no pounds. Wages on the high side, but at the same time, I wanted to stave off interest from other clubs. So, 5-year contract, hope he does things. Right, back to the one side after the season ticked over. I'm not sure if this is meant to be pronounced Bojan or Bojan, but Kovacevic, anyway. I don't know how to pronounce the second half of that, but Kovacevic, £2 million from Kukuriki. Again, I had to pay a little bit more than perhaps they wanted just to stave off interest from other clubs. £2 million for a player who's worth at least 30. Yeah, 16 jumper each. He's 19. Can't really do the other technicals outside of just straight up defending. So we'll probably play CD rather than ball playing. Oscar Gluck, you may have seen him around this year. He's cheap because he has a release fee of 2.1 million. We've loaned him back to the club just because. I can't remember if he got a work permit or not in the end. I think he might have, but we loaned him back just because we're probably not going to play him. And he was 19 to begin with, so he was never going to get homegrown anything. So it didn't really matter too much. Kind of a similar deal with Julian Ord, 3.6 million. Not a release fee, just 3.6 million. Valued at 25. We've loaned him to Hamburg in the Bundesliga. That was a weird loan saga. Kind of second-tier teams came in, and then the quality of team just kept on increasing with every loan offer that came in. So it was actually between a team in Liga, I forget which one, and Hamburg, and he went to Hamburg. But yeah, he didn't get a work permit, which is why we had to loan him out. But again, also he was 20 when we signed him, so he's never going to homegrown anything, so it didn't really matter if we loaned him out or not. Milovanovic, another Vic, but Milovanovic, another Serbian. 7.5 million from Almeria. He'd only just moved to Almeria, but a 7.5 million release fee, yes please. Worth at least 27 here. Well-rounded, backup striker with 16 jumper reach already and 6'5". You can see what I've gone for there. This is the most recent one, and it was the one I was most unsure about, really. Robert Skov, he's dropped the Olsen for some reason, but Robert Skov is effectively Marvin Plattenhardt, but 4 years younger, and with a lot more versatility in where he can play. Because he will be playing left back when he does play for me, or I should say, left wing back. We'll get on to that momentarily. Strahinja Pavlovic, another Serbian. We're stocking ourselves with them, but in a very similar boat to Kovacevic, but just a few years older. From Red Bull Salzburg, we paid 18 million, 3 million more if he plays games and all that jazz, you know the deal. But 17 jumping reach for him, reasonable mentals. I'd like more acceleration, but the pace overall is there. And similarly on the technical front to Kovacevic, which is why I highlight that comparison, can do the actual physical defending things, but not massively good on the passing front. And then finally, the big money signing, and welcome back to the world of me, to Tino Livramento. Good physicals. Mentals are not fantastic, but I hope they just improve naturally with age, and his potential actually isn't as high as I thought it was going to be. But we've paid £36 million up front to Southampton for his services. Again, I like his versatility. I like the fact he can cover in the centre if necessary, and he can play that slightly further forward, because we're doing that. And of course, English, which is nice to have. We're also in the process of acquiring Evan Undicka, who's not agreed yet, but we are the only ones to have bid for him at this point in time. This will be the only time I don't pronounce it Koch, but we've lost Koch, got Undicka. There is one more transfer in the works, but we're not the only ones to have bid for him, so I'm not going to say it just yet, just in case we get disappointed. However, the reason why I say left and right wing back is because, screw it, I'm trying 3 at the back. All the AI's doing it, I'm trying it now. It'll go down as 3-3-1-1-2, I imagine, because that's how they like to do it these days. Or it might even go down as 3-3-1-3, because apparently wingers count as forwards now when they're on the sides, but whatever. It is requiring a certain amount of squad culling. There's a few people that we are trying to remove. I may have put out feelers for Harrison and Sinistera just because they are effectively surplus. Both of them got annoyed and I agreed not to sell them, which is a weird promise to make because if you do sell them, then who cares if they're mad at you? But the good news is, Sinistera can do pressing forward, weirdly, but not complete forward, and Harrison can do shadow striker, so they're not entirely useless. Espria can do shadow striker as well, and Taz Magno can actually do complete forward and pressing forward, I think. So all the wingers that we did have do have functionality here. We just have too many of them. And what it does mean is it does mean players like Aronson are in an awkward position of being the ones in the firing line. As much as I love Aronson in real life, and I think he's going to be exciting as a player as he goes forward in his career, his potential here isn't fantastic, and he's already 22. He played 28 games last year, and I didn't see much of a development from him. He got 5 goals and 4 assists, which from a midfielder isn't awful, but he averaged 6.8. He got 2 player of the matches and averaged 6.8, which shows you how bad the rest of them were. As I said, though, Koulibaly is being loaned out because he's kind of the only one who doesn't have that much functionality. Koulibaly could play left wing back, but we've got enough people who can do that now, so I can loan him out, maybe get him a bit of development, then sell him next year. Nonto's going out on loan again, just because I'd already ruined his homegrown capabilities last year by loaning him out last year, and he's not good enough to even rotate for us this year. But it does mean as we play Burnley on the opening day, this is kind of how we look like. And it's weird because Harrison did score 14 goals last year from the right inside forward role. Sinistera didn't do anywhere near as good on the left. So effectively, what I want to do is free the crosses a little bit more. Because what I felt like was, even though Plattenhardt was instructed to be on overlap on the left-hand side purely for his crossing ability, he didn't really do it anywhere near as much as I wanted him to. So I feel like freeing them up, like removing the obstacles from in front of them in the wing-back positions, might allow those crosses to go in a bit better and utilise the good crossing that Plattenhardt has. And Livermento's is 13, it's not awful. And the logic here is, we've still got the defensive cover in Adams and a third centre-back, of course. The box-to-box midfielder, which is Andre Santos, is that little bit further forward to facilitate the overlap on the left, in particular with Plattenhardt. Just sort of kind of encourages it to play through that left-hand side more just naturally. I'm not telling them to overlap on the left, but it just sort of encourages that a little bit more just by the virtue of where they're positioned. And then as we saw kind of last year, a shadow striker behind 2 strikers is fairly potent in general. So hopefully that continues this year. Pre-season was weird. The first 2 games, worth knowing, were with the old formation. We beat Atletico Madrid 4-0 with it. They did play Oblak in goal. I don't really know what happened. But switching to this 3 at the back system, a lot more goals, but a lot more conceding, which makes no sense because there's more defenders now. Our American tour ended with beating LA and Vancouver 4-2, and then we scored 3 past Milan and 2 past Dortmund, but lost by 1 goal margins. And then trash Carlisle in a more fitness-friendly 5 goals in the first 24 minutes, and I think they just stopped playing at that point. The next episode will be playing the Europa Conference League playoff matches against RFS. That might be a case of seeing how the first leg goes, and then if it's kind of dominant, we might play the Aston Villa game instead. But Burnley now, opening day, only 1 game's happened already. It was Southampton-Bournemouth. Southampton won. And in terms of the season preview, we are better off this year. 250 to 1 are our odds. Fulham nowhere near as overpowered this year, it seems. Still higher, still weirdly high, but not as high as they once were, in comparison, I guess. Chelsea-Man City as an opening day fixture is bold. Burnley playing with 2 DMs and an attacking midfielder. No central midfielders. It's a problem in this year's game. That happens a lot. I should just mention this shift as well, and the players that we required has sort of also put players like Christensen in the firing line to be sold. It's weird because Christensen has a lot of versatility, but not a lot of purpose. Although that being said, it probably should be Christensen on the bench rather than Ola Aina, now I think about it. The one person it does put in a supremely weird position is Stuart Dallas, who can play right back and right wing, but not right wing back. Which means the only position on this pitch that he actually has natural ability in is centre mid. But I'm not selling him purely just for the sake of the fact that he is my more defensive mentor. With Klitsch gone, Bamford deals with the attackers, Dallas deals with the defenders, effectively. I can't get rid of them both. So even if he doesn't play this year that much, he's here for mentoring. Which does mean, for the opening fixture against Burnley, the full lineup is as follows. Melier in goal, Strike, Pavlovic and Kovacevic in the centre-back. One of them is having to play wide centre-back because Satalo is out. Kovacevic is obviously the one that's entered in place of him for today. Should mention that Charlie Cresswell is here and will be part of this team for this season in rotation factors. Platner as left wing-back, Livramento as right wing-back, Adams, Volante, Andre Santos, box-to-box. Shadow striker is Harrison, Bamford and Pedro up front. Of course, the newly promoted Burnley is an interesting test as well. Company still in the role due to being promoted. Slightly weird that he's signed former Man United central defender Rojo, though. Just about see him. This looks like it's a chance for Burnley. Strikes come out and not really dealt with. Weghorst, he's Dutch, isn't he? Weghorst, Kovacevic, back out to Taylor. That's headed forward. It's still in the air. Back down to Taylor. Chilinov, Twine again. That's annoyingly well worked. I mean, I think he's onside. It's been given. There was no big shout of VAR there that came up, but it's been given. Yeah, he was well on, and that's a ridiculously good finish from Weghorst, actually. I always default to saying Weghorst, just because he was always at Wolfsburg for ages. My brain goes German. Oh, he's only just on. A really good finish, though. Corner for Burnley. Well, it's not going well so far for us. I've not seen a single highlight in our favour. Twine gathers, and it's just going to smash it at Melee, I think. Yeah. Another highlight almost immediately, and it's Burnley possession once more. I'm massively concerned from what I'm seeing right now. Chernov, Twine. Can Melee actually gather that? That would be fantastic. We've had 68% of the possession, and we've had 3 shots. Well and good passing around, but can you sort of actually get to places? That'd be great. Maybe I do need to say overlap on Platinum to sort of give them that instruction just to let them know what they're meant to be doing. That's a block shot. Is it the highlight? Continued. When we reach for half time, where the only useful statistic is the fact we've had possession. Well, I'll get angry with them at half time. It's weird. The centre backs are actually having reasonably good ratings. We are now the better team, apparently. Just still no highlights. 3 substitutions, a media highlight. This is interesting. Gagliardini's on, Van der Boomen's on, Christensen's on. Van der Boomen's really more on as a preemptive for Platinum when that comes, and was alarming for Melier more than anything. The ball over the top, we just have to accept is happening. But Skov on, Milovanovic on for the last 15 as well. For Pedro, Gagliardini gets in the way of that. Kovacevic out to Christensen, who's taken a heavy touch but gone away with it this time. Running at them, still running at them, turns around. Adams finds Van den Boomen. Milovanovic is in and kicks it at Muric. I mean, following corner should be Van den Boomen on it on this side. It is. He's got plenty of aerial threats in the box to aim for and finds none of them. At this point, I'm demanding more because it's 1-0 still and we're 2xG. 2xG, pretty much. They had 2 shots in the second half. Burnley did 2 shots. Muric ends that game with an 8.1. Milovanovic and Skov didn't get ratings despite being on the pitch for 20 minutes in the end. Weird one, that. Well, got a playoff to do for the Europa Conference League anyway, so let's focus on that, and then we'll care about the league a little bit more once we've dealt with that, I guess. Well, if you enjoyed this, if you agree with my transfers, there's still a little bit more to be done, a little bit more excitement to come, probably some sales and loans out to come. Let me know your thoughts, comments, likes, subscribes, all helpful, as always. Until next time, ta-ra.